Okay, today's little project is this Bosch multi-tool. I don't know if that's the model number there, GOP 10.8 volts Li. So I think that might be the one. And I was originally given this, told that the batteries were shot on it. I think that's one of the original batteries. And I got one of these ones off eBay. I just didn't even check it. I thought, oh, they were fairly cheap, so I ordered one, and it didn't make any difference. It didn't actually run. But what I found is there's a little sensor where this battery connector is in here. You've got two pins which go to your two main like spade connectors in there, plus and minus, they're labelled, and then you've got these three little terminals on top, and one of those, I assume it must be that one labelled TLC, had a little tab in there as well. And the little tab had actually broken. I don't think it had fallen completely off back then, but it does worry me a bit because it looks like it has fallen off now. But it was just that was fractured. I mean, a pretty poor design really, put a little sprung bit of metal in there, but it wasn't very good spring quality sort of metal, and that snapped off. So I think I just soldered it together, maybe soldered a bit of wire to it, and it was running fine for a while. And then when I went to use it recently, of course, it's broken off again, and this thing wouldn't go at all. So I'm going to have a look at this, see if I can work out a way to actually fix this more permanently, or whether we can bypass that. I'm not sure what these sensor terminals or whatever do. I don't know if I've ever looked in the battery to see what's in there. Often they used to have some sort of temperature sensors or something on some of these things, I think, but it looks like we can actually, even though it's got torque screws, we can, where is it, get a flat blade in there and undo it. I don't think it's too hard to pull apart. Oh, they're pretty tight screws though. Don't think I did them up with a flat blade last time. I probably got a Torx bit and did it, or a Torx driver. But yeah, for a sort of tool that's used in a tough environment, I would say this is actually a pretty poor design, having that little flimsy bit of metal in there. But basically the thing, if that's not connected, whatever that terminal is, it just will not run. So I guess we should find out whether it detects that there's just a battery in there or what. I'm not sure. It might just be a short circuit to one of the other terminals or something. Was there another bit at the front here? I thought there was something else. Oh, maybe we've got to take the front bit right off. It's been, geez, it must be a few years since I pulled this to bits. So I've got to remember how to do it again. Does this rubber bit all come off separately? Oh well, there's one I've missed. That doesn't help. I was going to say nothing's coming apart, but I missed the one down the end there. So I can't remember if this splits in half or whether we've got to undo the front part or what. That does not want to come out. So it should be starting to split apart now, yeah. And it looks like it does get to these front screws before nothing else happens. But they are a handy tool when you need them. I don't need one very often, but when I was doing a bit of renovating work, there was a couple of jobs. It would have been handy to get this in and saw through a couple of things. But I obviously got by without it. I was in the middle of stuff and I didn't really have time to stop and fix this thing, but it's been sitting on the bench in my way since to remind me to do it. And I'm trying to tidy things up a bit, so I thought I might as well get this and either fix it or throw it. They're not that expensive to buy, but like usual, it's a shame to buy something when you can actually fix something easily, hopefully. Looks like to get that apart we've got to take the blade off it, if it's even called a blade. Kind of a blade, isn't it? I guess it does sawing, so we'll call it a blade. So it comes apart easy enough. And yeah, I think the piece has actually fallen off and disappeared, which is a bit annoying. I guess that's something I didn't think of. At least last time I think it was just fractured. This time it's broken right off, but you can see a little piece of metal there. And there used to be a little tab came out, so that when this battery went in, it touched obviously on that one there, which is labelled, what, T I think, wasn't it? Yeah, I think that's a T on there. So I guess one thing we can do is find out, does it actually connect? Because I'm not worried about bypassing this thing if necessary, since it's obviously a weak spot. I guess I could find out whether we can actually get a new battery terminal for it is another thing. So that's charged up to 12 volts. nothing to there, and yeah, 12 volts to there. So it may well just connect to that terminal by the look of it, or through, we're measuring more like a diode or something. Just check on these other terminals, they don't do anything. So it's bound to have something, they're not going to make it that easy, I guess. Some of them just have thermal fuses or something, but maybe it's just a resistor of some sort. I'm measuring about 16k. Probably shouldn't mess with my new one, I'd prefer to break an old one if I'm going to, if one of these tabs breaks off or something. Let's see if we can pull the end off the battery and just see if it shows us anything. Another tab there. Looks like the whole guts might have to slide out of it. Oh, there's a resistor there, but that's going to another terminal, I think. Or is it? Let's have a look. I'm sure they come up with something to try and make it so you can't mess with it. I don't know why manufacturers have to be like that, but they do. That's only about a K. And obviously connects to there, I assume. 12k to that one. 10k to there. So one of those may well be connected to ground here, if that is the ground side. No. Nothing seems to be connected to anything. So we've got one big terminal, that's the positive, that would be the negative. Then we've got another second red wire here, whether it goes to some of these. Do these just come out? This other bit feels like it wants to come off. But there we go. It does come out. Let's see what these people have been doing. There's something wrapped around the battery there with a couple of black wires, and one of the black wires I think goes to our little thing. So what have these guys done here? Is it a thermistor or something? It probably is by the look of it. It looks like a little thermistor in there, just a little black blob. I guess one way to cheat would be to pull that out of the battery pack. Now the problem is it may use it for the charger, but you could probably pull one of those out of one of these battery packs and just solder it in the unit. Here's one way of bypassing things. It's nice if you can leave it in there, but oh yeah, so that red wire goes into that battery, that comes down through that, so they're all in series by the look of it with the welded on bits of metal, and then comes back to there. And then is that connected to that thing? So that terminal goes to the thermistor, comes back up the other black wire here, 9k, so that I assume is connected to that resistor through 0 ohms. Now is that connected to either? That's connected to the other terminal by the look of it, and then that resistor just, I assume, just goes up to this pin. Maybe that's used in the charger somewhere. So it could be something again to, you know, stop so you can't use someone else's battery in here. Who knows what these so and so's have been up to. And that's connected to that terminal, which is negative. So it looks like we've got like a thermistor to negative plus a 1k resistor from the other side of the thermistor. So one side of the thermistor to that terminal, goes through the thermistor back to ground, and then this one, middle pin's got a 1k to ground. One's labelled T for thermistor maybe, I don't know, and the other one's labelled C for charge or something, who knows. Oops, tape's coming off, but not that it matters much. I think that was the right way, wasn't it? So at least we know what we're dealing with. So of course this has got all sorts of chips and stuff in it. The white wire comes back to who knows what, this little track, and it goes through a double-sided, double-plated hole. So do we need like a 15k to ground or something on this thing? That's probably all it's going to take. I could certainly try it. I guess we could blow something up in it, is about all that could happen. Ooh, I was going to say, better be careful I don't short anything out here. And that's just what I did. Get all these screws out of the way. Oh, keeps you on your feet a bit. Oh, volts DC a bit more use. So we should have our 12 volts there. That was the negative, I think. No voltage there, of course, but this probably has not really much going on. You'd think that'd be like a 5-volt line or something. What's this other little button do? I can't even remember what it is. Oh, that was the show the charge. And you've got your speed. And then we've got our switch. So in theory, if we connect from that to that terminal, I don't know if a clip lead will even join to that, probably not. Might be able to kind of force something there somewhere. Just. How's it going to run? Maybe not. Can we get LEDs on? Nothing. Let's see, have we got anything else I need to touch here? 1 and O. So we don't seem to have anything happening. So it's only got, oh yeah, oh there it goes. Ooh. So why did that not want to start? Yeah. Well, now it's making a liar out of me. Yeah, it definitely doesn't start without that thing. It doesn't necessarily start with it, but we'll have to turn it on with that. So that's definitely the problem. So I've either got to have a terminal to connect to that. I wonder if I could almost put a bit of spring wire or something there. I don't fancy my chances of fixing that somehow. I think I did look these up and I couldn't find one anywhere for sale easily without having to go to Bosch maybe. So we could either, if we could solder a bit of spring wire to that and get it to connect, or like I say, if we can put a, I wonder if just like a 15k to ground or something will work on that. Let's see. Don't think I'm going to be able to connect to that very well. That's got it. Did have it. Was that the negative side? That should be the negative. Let's hook to that. And nothing. Oh, there it goes. So maybe that's a cure, a 15k resistor. Seems as long as it's got a momentary connection there, it will run. But once it's fired, it doesn't want to... Well, I think we'll do that. Bit of messing around just to get that far, but I think if I just solder a 15k literally between those two terminals, let's get the battery out there before something gets shorted out. I could even go to the circuit board, but I think we'll just go from this blue wire to this white wire by stripping that off, because all I want to do is get this thing going. At least I haven't messed with the batteries then in any way that's going to compromise them on charging. I don't want to, even though I don't normally charge batteries when I'm not around or anything, just for safety reasons, but you don't really want any risk of something going wrong or the battery being too hot when you try to charge it or something. I'd prefer not to bypass safety features if I can help it, especially with battery chargers, and know what lithium ion batteries can be like, which I think these are lithium. Yeah, Li. Are these Li's? Who knows? Yeah, lithium ion. So it's probably not that old, this unit, I guess. But it belonged to a builder friend, and his son had been using it, I think, and said it stopped working and needed new batteries, but they'd gone and bought another one or something. And like I say, I didn't even check beyond that it didn't run. Thankfully the battery didn't cost much off eBay, because I didn't need one at all. It looks like the other batteries are still good in it. So let's see if I can just do something like that. Looks like as long as it's got some sort of resistance there, just to make it think there's a battery in place with and the correct type of battery, I guess, with a thermistor in it. Now whether it uses that thermistor to shut itself off if it gets too hot, probably does. It's probably meant to. It's not like I'm going to use this thing an awful lot, so kind of do this at your own risk, I guess. There is a possibility that, you know, if you ran this really hard and really going into things that might overheat or something, and whereas it should normally shut off, it won't. But like I say, for the amount I do, just a little job here and there, I'm not particularly fussed about that. I just want to get this thing going. It seems a waste to have to throw it in the rubbish, and especially since it's something I rarely use. I don't particularly want to go and spend any money on one of these, because I think it's been about 3 years since I last used this thing, probably something like that, and I did have one little job I wanted to use it for, and of course it didn't want to run. That's when I realised the piece had fallen out of it again, broken off. Now is this gonna, I better check this resistor when I put it in, is it gonna touch on anything? It's kind of getting a little close to the circuit board. I think it's alright though. Oh, we've got our switch as well. Does that just slot in there? I think we're right. No, I must go down a bit lower. Yeah, the resistor's sort of up against that blue wire, which probably isn't perfect, but should I just move that blue wire up a bit? And it's, yeah, just touching the circuit board. I might bend it up a little more. I don't think it's going to matter, but just want to be sure nothing can short out where I've put that resistor in. I guess ideally I probably should have heat shrunk the whole thing, but it's only a bit of the body of the resistor touching the edge of the circuit board. I think that's fine. Guess it's my bad luck if it blows up on me, but I don't think anything much is going to come of that. So I think we put that back together. Hang on. Oh yeah, the red bit. I was going to say, where's the switch gone? That red thing fell out, so I should have put that in first, I guess. Slot that on the switch, then slot it into the case. Try and get that switch in place. Well, at least it's a simple enough little thing to put together and pull apart. So I can probably start screwing. Oh, what was that thing? That was on the motor somewhere, I think. Was that in over the terminals there somewhere? I'm not sure it really matters. Where was that exactly? Or was that over the socket? Should have took more notice. I obviously got it back the first time. Oh well. I can look on the camera after and see if it was anything important. But I don't think it's too critical. Like I say, this thing's probably going to get like 15 minutes use every 3 years or something. I guess it's the sort of tool, once you've got one, you tend to use it a bit more, but it's not that often I need to saw something inaccessible, which is about what these are mainly good for, getting in and sawing something that's in situ that you can't really get any other tool into, and you don't want to remove something. That motor's a little noisy in it anyway, so it looks like it's done a bit of work. It's full of plaster dust or something. Now, did that face that way? I guess it would have. Is that going to just pop on, or is this going to make it difficult? I guess that motor's got to line up correctly. That's it. What's going on here? Is that meant to sit like that? Oh, I didn't actually alter that bit much, did I? There's a bit of a rubbery cover thing there. Oh, I did. Not sure how that's meant to sit. Is that meant to stop dust getting up in there, I guess? I'm not sure where that's meant to go exactly. I guess moving this cover around's probably loosened it up a bit. I think that just sits under there like that. Although, what's this rubber thing at the front? Okay, I better check this. It's the problem with these things, there's always something doesn't go back in the way it should. Might have to take the tool off, I think, because there's some weird rubber. I'm not even sure if it's any good in there. Too big. Too big. Of course, the next size down is going to walk about. There it is. It's always the same one used in everything. It's going to come off now. I think this whole piece comes off actually. Does that bit come off? No, it doesn't. So I've got this weird, oh yeah, that's falling right out. Weird rubber set up in here. So what on earth, I think I might have to pull this bit to bits. Oh, so that probably goes in there somewhere, does it? I don't think I've ever really touched that bit, but that's just some bit that goes in there, and the other bit's a dust seal, I guess. Must sit in that little, does it sit in that slot there? That probably could really do with replacing. It's getting a bit loose there. Won't be surprised both these rubber bits are a bit dodgy now. Guess it's a good chance to check a few things like that. Okay, that's pushed in. That seems to seal up nicely, so that may well have been loose before. Or maybe just me messing around with it was enough to upset it. Okay, now we're in business. Not that it matters that much for what I'm going to do, but it's best to have all the seals in place, I guess, make the motor last a bit longer. I get a funny feeling that thing was sticking out before. But anyway, someone may well have had it apart in the past. Actually, they're pretty tight, I think. What does that say, I don't know. So yeah, a bit of messing around. If I knew it was this much trouble, I probably would have just bought a new one, but again, like I say, if I hadn't ordered that battery, it would have been good. Always nice to recycle these things if you can, rather than just chuck them out. Because often there's not a lot wrong with these tools. And let's shove the battery back in. Yeah, I think she's a goer. My battery set, the new one certainly sounds better. Good thing they're lithium ion, because like I said, I've been lying around for years doing nothing. Wouldn't do them much good if they're an old nickel cadmium or something. Yeah, it seems to operate alright under load. So that's that done. Nice simple little job. I've got to check the speed works, I guess, and we've got our little battery checker. Horrible sounding things, but really handy with these little blades if you've got to cut into a tight area. Quite a handy little tool to have. And like I say, once you've got one that works, you probably use it a bit more than you think. And I did get a new set of blades for it. So yeah, I got all the different, from the fine little one, a few different sizes, and the great big one there. And I'm not sure what else this is. Oh, it came with a sanding thing, that's right. Oh yeah, I forgot it does sanding. And that's a handy little thing. They did include the box and all the accessories. There's a couple other blades. Still got a bit of life in them. Oh, there's another one as well. I forget what was even in there. And yeah, some more sandpaper pieces. And even the book for it. That's just a warranty, is it? Warranty period, and I can go in the rubbish. And we can put all this back together in the box, I think. The whole kit and caboodle with it. Let's say that sits in there. That'll go in there. Not sure if the batteries are meant to store in particular places, maybe. In there, but they might. Oh, there's a great big bit sitting down on the top, so it actually shows it here. Tool, battery, box, and of course the charger. I was just trying a couple of batteries to see if they're charged up. And I see the plug must go up in there somewhere, does it? That's what that holds for. When was it last tagged? 14. So it's been around a few years. So 2014 was the last time that got a tag to be used on a work site. Might even, I guess, take all these out of their packet. Would make more sense. Put them in a little storage container. And the spare battery can float around a bit. I might even shove it down in there. And that can finally go back on my tool shelf after about 3 months. Thanks for watching.